Have you ever wondered why some people seem untouched by chaos and drama? Why in a storm of emotions they remain grounded, quiet, still, almost unreachable? It's not that they don't feel pain, or fear, or betrayal. It's that they've learned a skill that most people spend their lives running from: acceptance. Not the passive kind, not the one that shrugs and gives up, but the radical kind, the kind that ends suffering without fixing a single thing. Let's talk about it. Most people think they're broken because of what happened to them: the breakup, the betrayal, the thing that didn't go as planned. But that's not what breaks you. What breaks you is the fight against what happened. You say things like, "This shouldn't have happened. I should be further by now. They shouldn't have treated me like that." And suddenly you're not just dealing with a painful event, you're dragging the weight of resistance behind it. It's not the moment that kills you, it's the mental war you start the second you decide reality should have looked different. This is where suffering begins, in the refusal to let life be what it is. Pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's optional, and most of it is self-inflicted. Think of pain like rain. It falls, touches everyone. But suffering is like grabbing that rain and refusing to let it go, holding on to it, clenching your fists. That's what we do with emotions. We hold them in, trying to resist what's already happened. Ancient wisdom on modern struggles. Thousands of years ago, the Stoics understood something we're still learning. You can't control life, but you can control how you meet it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Now pause and absorb that. You have the power to revoke the pain, not by changing the event, but by changing the story. This idea was echoed across time. The Buddha said, "Attachment is the root of suffering." It's not what happens to us, but our attachment to what should have happened that creates the inner war. That story you've been telling yourself, that you're behind, that you're not good enough, that people owe you closure, recognition, or fairness. Those aren't facts. They're narratives. And most of them, you didn't even write. You inherited them from a world that profits off your self-doubt. So ask yourself, who is the narrator of your pain? Is it your wounded self, your ego, or something deeper? Control is the real illusion. Let's get brutally honest. You were never in control. You never had a grip on what others would do, how they'd feel about you, or how life would unfold. The more you tried to control it, the more exhausted you became. The more you clung to plans and expectations, the more disappointed you felt. Real freedom starts the moment you let go. When you stop arguing with the moment. When you stop needing the past to make sense. Because control is an illusion, and your peace lives in surrender. Alan Watts once said, "The more a thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless." We try to hold life still, to freeze relationships, roles, identities. But life is fluid, and control is trying to stop the ocean with your hands. The samurai, the stoic, and the modern mind. There's a reason samurai warriors didn't flinch in the face of death. There's a reason stoics like Epictetus, who was born a slave, radiated more calm than kings. It wasn't that they didn't feel fear, it's that they stopped running from it. Fear loses power when you stop trying to escape it. Disappointment fades when you stop replaying the scenario in your head. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, preparation for misfortune. Not to be pessimistic, but to train the mind to accept that difficulty will come. Imagine this. You're in pain, and instead of fighting it, denying it, or numbing it, you breathe through it. You let it rise, you let it pass. In that moment, you become untouchable, because now the storm is inside your awareness, not controlling it. That's real strength, not in avoidance, but in presence. Most people aren't broken, they're just resisting. Here's the real kicker. Most people aren't broken, they're just in resistance. They're trapped in a loop. Why me? How could they? This isn't fair. But what if you stop needing it to be fair? What if you stop needing an apology that's never coming? You'd realize something shocking. You're free, not because the wound healed overnight, but because it stopped owning your energy. This isn't about giving up. It's about giving up the fight with what already happened. You can't go back, but you can come back to yourself. We waste years waiting for things to resolve that never will. The father who never apologized, the partner who left, the opportunity that vanished. Stop waiting, start releasing, turning pain into power. Acceptance doesn't mean indifference. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care differently. You stop bleeding energy into things you can't change. You start reinvesting that energy into who you're becoming. This is how the alchemy begins. This is how pain becomes purpose. Because once you stop trying to rewrite the past, you start writing the future with clarity, with power, with presence. You become the calm in the storm, not because you controlled the weather, but because you stopped needing to. Transformation doesn't come from escaping the fire. It comes from learning to stand in it without burning. A modern-day application. Picture this. You're ghosted by someone you cared about. No closure, no explanation, just silence. Your mind spirals. What did I do? Why wasn't I enough? But pause. What if you just accepted it? No story, no self-blame, just space. Suddenly you reclaim your peace, not because it didn't hurt, but because you stopped negotiating with it. That's emotional maturity. That's what it means to live in alignment. Or imagine being passed over for a job. You could spiral into resentment or accept it, regroup, and try again. Acceptance is not passivity. It's movement in the direction of peace. Stop running. So here's the truth most people avoid. You don't need more answers. You need fewer battles. Let life be what it is. Let people leave. Let the storm pass through you, not define you. Stop running. Stop negotiating. Stop wishing for a better past. Sit with what is. Breathe through it. And in that silence, you'll find something the world can't give you. Real peace. Because the moment you stop resisting your life is the moment you start living it. You reclaim your timeline. You stop outsourcing your peace, and you start becoming who you were before the world told you who to be. If this spoke to something inside you, you're not alone, and you're not broken. You're just waking up. Subscribe to Semantic Soul for weekly wisdom on philosophy, emotional mastery, and radical self-awareness. Like if this echoed a truth you've always known but never had the words for, hit the bell to stay grounded, no matter how loud the world gets.